Hey, everybody, welcome to Game Breaking News with me, Jeff Grubb, your host for GiantBomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. On this episode, we're going to be talking about a huge remake and a new Xbox handheld in 2025. We have Lucy James, so it's going to be a good one. Let's get right into it. All of that was supposed to happen over the music, and I never told Jan that. So that's
Oh,
fun. Yeah, no problem.
it's
Lucy
fine.
James, you're here. How's it going?
Hi, I'm here. I'm in the office. It's going well, thank you. Excited to be here. Oh, and there was Jan closing me in. I'm in the the voiceover kind of booth section, which is
You've been locked into Game Breaking News, is what's
I've been.
happened.
You know how locked in on news I am.
How locked in?
It's literally this locked in. Like I might have to put
Yes.
this curtain
It
over, so there's no one can hear me screaming here.
that door is now barred from the other side. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, welcome to Game Breaking News, everybody. It is the news show we're going to be doing here as part of the Power Block, which is a collaboration between GameSpot and Giant Bomb as we try to do stuff for you each and every day, starting around noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific, and we'll just be going all day. Usually it'll start with this show. Not always. Other things could happen earlier. We are going to have a good time here, though, talking about news pretty soon. But yeah, first, Lucy, how are you doing? Is it fun to be doing this from the studio?
It is. I kind of forgot how, because obviously we've been doing so much stuff from home. It's wonderful. I love doing it. I love the comfort of my own home. I love my cats hanging around. But there is something more energizing about doing it from the office, and just being around like Jonik and Jan are already in here, and just it's exciting. And also like we're a small but scrappy team, and it's exciting for us to do a bunch of new stuff. And honestly, I just think live is fun.
Yeah, anything can
Let's
happen,
be
right?
good.
So
Well, hopefully only good stuff.
yeah, well, I mean, listen, if bad stuff happens,
Let's not think that.
we've dealt with plenty of that. We can keep rolling with that as well. So yeah, you know what, Lo? Let's get into the show and explain what we do
Let's
here.
jump right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS. We got that over on giantbomb.com for you. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's break some gaming news, starting with the rumored Oblivion remake could launch sooner than expected. This comes from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. The long-rumored remake of Bethesda's 2006 RPG, The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion, could be announced soon and potentially released before June. That's according to Nate the Hate, who has a solid track record of reporting on unannounced games and platforms. And when he broke this, I also got a couple of messages saying, yeah, this is happening. So I think we can
I got
be,
one too. And that never happens. I feel
yeah.
like a news hound.
Well, no, you're
I
tapped
was
in.
like,
Come on.
is this how Jeff Grubb feels every day?
Oh, you don't want to feel that way. Let's not get
No.
crazy here. Yeah, hey, this is kind of something I think has been mostly an open secret for some time now, right? Because we had,
I started hearing about this like a year and a half ago, I feel
yeah,
like.
but I think when we first started hearing about it, and I remember VGC actually reporting on it pretty early. I think the report from them was this would be remade visually in Unreal Engine 5, and then underneath it would still be the Oblivion engine. That
Okay.
was like, so you would have all the interactivity and stuff like that. Now, I think the
So
most
it would
recent rumors,
feel like
yes,
a Bethesda. Because that's the thing. I mean, UE5 is amazing, but I'm at the stage now where if I pick up a game, I can tell when it's made in Unreal because there's just something about the character weight and feel to it. So, okay, if it feels like a Bethesda game.
yeah, I think though that the most recent rumors, Lucy James, are that they are
Mhm.
remaking the entirety of the game in Unreal Engine 5. So
Oh.
now, why would they do this? Like, why would this be a bit like? Obviously, they do this to make money from selling an old game to us
Mhm.
again. But why go through all the effort of sort of getting an Elder Scrolls game up and running in Unreal Engine 5? To me, that says like they want the future of their games maybe to be in an engine like Unreal 5. So do a lot of the work to
Mm.
figure out how to get this game running in Unreal 5, and then you could take all of those efforts and pay it forward to the next game and kind of build on that as a new way of making these games going forward. So that makes a lot of sense.
It
But,
does.
but yeah,
Cheaper to kind of not have to maintain your own engine and just let, just pack a bunch of stuff on top of Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, we get why everyone wants to do that as well. It is, we are maybe past the point where we're definitely past the point where every studio has their own engine for every game they make. There was a time where that maybe made more sense before. Something like Unreal had standardized a lot of that stuff, and now you're at a point where so many people who work in this industry want to build skills that are applicable to the next job. You want to build a skill that it's like, okay, I worked on this game, and because I worked on this game that was in Unreal, I can go to any other studio working in Unreal and do that as well. And so it's easier to hire people if you
Mm.
have that because one, people want to work there, and also they have probably built up some of those features that they will need to scale into something like an Unreal game anywhere else. Now, is this going to be the best thing for these Elder Scrolls games? I don't know. I do like the hey, everything's interactable, every or interactive, I should say. I like
Mm.
that you could pick up anything. I like that aspect of those games, but maybe that is something that they're gonna reduce focus on, or maybe they find a way to get that working in Unreal 5. What do you think?
Oh, in terms of everything you can see, you can pick up. Because that's the thing, I
Yeah,
think they swung too hard in that direction for Starfield. That was one of my big criticisms where it was like, I looked at my inventory, which was pretty capped at the beginning of the game, and it was filled with clipboards and mugs and stuff. Whereas I like the in my mind, and like this is a very oversimplification, this is just how my brain works. Like the 2008 to 2014, where it's like everything was incredibly stylized. I'm thinking of like games like Dishonored and even Skyrim, where I look at something and there is a select number of items that I know that I can interact with because I just understand the visual language of a game. So
yep.
that's the thing where it's like I like the restraint, but then at the same time, you want the most immersive experience. So technically, that should be the Starfield where everything should be interactable.
Yeah, I
Interactable.
mean,
Why you got me saying that now?
because I'm a
Interactive.
bad person. It's
I thought
it's
you were gonna
a
say
it's
because I'm
it's
a bad
contagious.
boy.
Yeah, I'm a bad boy,
The
and that's
bad boy
also
of games media.
Bad Boy Games Media, and it's contagious. Yeah. It's yeah. I think that the issue with Starfield, right, is there just was nothing on the other side of that sort of thing. Like
Mm.
when I think you could stack that stuff up in your ship a little bit, but I don't know how permanent it was because your ship didn't feel like as much of a permanent place as say a house in Skyrim.
Because that's the
But
thing, in Prey, you could pick up all that crap and then you put it in the recycling machine and you could get a
yeah,
bunch
I mean,
of bunch of your
Fallout
bits.
4, you pick up all that
Yep.
stuff and then you use it to build up your home base, and all that stuff could be turned into other materials and things like that. There was a crafting system. I don't necessarily need a crafting system in their games going forward, but I do think people want an end goal, even if some people do just want to pick up every wheel of cheese to put that in their house, and that's their
Yeah.
way of expressing themselves. I've mentioned online, I've been watching my kids play Goat Simulator 3 recently, and that's how they play that game. They just pick up everything and throw it in a house that they stole from some
Yeah.
humans, and it's a fun time to watch.
Yeah.
The Getting back to this remake, it could be out by June, is what this story is saying.
By
Um,
June?
so yeah, we're halfway through March right now. I don't mean to alarm anybody, Lucy, but we're halfway through March right now.
Uh,
So that means this game gets announced when, like April, and then comes out in
mm.
June. Like, is that what we're looking at?
I mean, maybe. Like, that would be
I think so.
amazing. But because also, like, first half of the show is, first half of the year is pretty stacked already. But yeah, I mean, April, if they have a direct or something, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted by this link that Lexi dropped in the chat,
Oh yeah.
which is the Eurogamer posted Disco Elysium is being reimagined for mobile audiences to captivate the TikTok user. And my brain is just so broken by that. And there is also a trailer.
Okay. Next story: Disco Elysium is being reimagined for mobile devices to captivate the TikTok user. Oblivion, that stuff's happening. So get excited,
Oblivion's
everybody.
happening. Get excited for that game.
This is the craziest sentence I've seen in a while. Yeah, this comes from Ed Nightingale over at Eurogamer. Psychological RPG Disco Elysium is set to come to mobile devices courtesy of original studio Zaum. That's how I'm always going to say it. In a reimagined form. Reimagined is maybe the craziest euphemism they could have used for what this thing that they're doing is. The aim of this adaptation is to make the game accessible for mobile devices and playable in short bursts. We intend to captivate the TikTok user with quick hits of compelling story, art, and audio, ultimately creating an all new, deeply engaging form of entertainment. said studio head Dennis Havel, an original member of the Disco Elysium development team. Okay, that's crazy. Because to me, the way I look at TikTok, and I think what they're saying here is that scrolling, going like from one piece of content that is quick
Yeah.
hitting, gives you dopamine, and then you scroll, or really what it does, it automatically goes to the next one. So you just kind of can't get off that train. That is like the capitalism, like the crack cocaine version of social media that is just boiled down to its most base components and just latches onto your brain and becomes impossible to like extract from. Like you have to make a conscious decision to put down these things once you get on the I've started watching YouTube Shorts because my YouTube app just
Yeah.
automatically went there. I'm like, I did not come to YouTube to do this, but I find myself 25 minutes later, I'm still here. God dang it, I hate this.
Mm.
Disco Elysium is it's like a game about social constructs and about socialism and communism and capitalism and plight of man. And boy, this feels like chocolate and moon rocks.
Yeah. I'm still just so taken aback by that headline. It is such a good headline.
It
It's
is.
like something from Succession.
Yeah, it really is. Yes. I don't.
There's also a trailer. I dropped it in our chat on Discord here. Um,
All right, I'm gonna take a look
yeah,
at this thing.
it
Yeah, this
Click
is
of
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's somewhere on Android only for now. That's interesting.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Is it
boy,
voice acted?
I mean, they could just take all the voice lines they already did for the voice acted version of that game, right? So this is just Disco Elysium, like
Mm.
art from Disco Elysium, writing from Disco Elysium. It looks like maybe some dialogue choices from that game, but in a vertical
Do I get to punch
version.
Kuno?
Yeah, it looks like Kuno punch. Yeah, and then yeah,
I
Kuno
better
punches
be able to
you.
punch that little kid.
Yeah, I'm a little sack of potatoes. Yeah, this is truly unhinged. I mean, and we've been getting these, vibes. We've been getting the explicit statements from Zaum
Mm.
since Disco Elysium's team has fallen apart and has spun off into several other studios, all making games specifically because they hated working with people that might make decisions like this.
I
Uh,
mean, hey, I'm proud to announce that I am a project from one of the creators of Disco Elysium at this point. Because what isn't? There are so many of them; it's difficult to keep track.
Who isn't? Absolutely. All right. Well, that is very bizarre. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if we get any like statements from other people that worked on Disco Elysium. I bet they will just be like, I don't ever want to think about that thing ever again.
For the TikTok, for the TikTok user.
Yeah, for the
That's
TikTok user, I mean, I don't think that this is how you. I mean, that's just a bad strategy, right? Because the TikTok user is not like someone making conscious decisions about choosing the thing they want to interact with. You fall into the algorithm, and unless your game can be inserted into the algorithm to be served up to people, no one who's doing that is going to be like, well, I was going to go waste time on TikTok, but instead let me download
I'm
this
gonna.
bespoke app for this one video game that I can play in weird chunks. It,
Mm.
you're right. It is Succession. Like it is 100% the kind of thing where these people do not get it, and them applying a half-formed thought to a piece of content they already have so they can cheaply reuse it is, yeah.
So, as more of a uh as more of a kind of like I'm taking this as a good faith interpretation of this, right? Is
Go
that
for it.
I'm trying to be the silver lining. Where it's like Disco Elysium, thought provoking. We are in a stage where we're kind of losing the hashtag Gen Z gamer. They like the younger generations are playing more games on their phone.
Sure.
Disco Elysium, such a powerful piece of work, and if they are taking that and reimagining it and putting it out in a way that they think will appeal to that audience, I do understand that, and I
I
understand the
get the
warped reasoning
panic.
behind it. I
Yeah.
get the thing, but it just feels bizarre. Feels
Yeah.
so bizarre.
I mean, it
But I
feels
mean, hey, maybe this will be the thing that gets, kids thinking about being a depressed amnesic
And we need more of that for
apocalyptic.
sure. The kids
I
have not
mean,
had enough depressing things to think about. Yeah,
no,
I
they
just
haven't lived through
it's
any interesting times. What are they talking about?
if the disease is the people can't get off of these social media apps because the algorithm is that sticky. The solution is probably not let's make our thing exactly like that. It's probably not like let's form our content into the shape of the disease.
Mm,
You probably need to offer a wholesome, compelling, nutritious alternative, and that was the video game Disco Elysium.
mm,
And the game did very well. It did find an audience, and sure, yeah, you're not going to be able to peel everyone away from
yeah,
TikTok, but your one hope there is eventually people just get so sick of feeling the way they feel after using apps like that over a long period of time that they decide to come back to something that is wholesome.
yeah.
And you need to be waiting there with something ready for them instead of being like, let's like shed all the things that make us special to be more like
Mm,
YouTube Shorts and Instagram and like the Facebook feed that has now turned into TikTok as well. All these social media apps are doing the same thing. You doing the same thing from the creators of Disco Elysium is embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
from the creators of Disco Elysium. I think we should have a
Ah,
moratorium on the phrase "from the creators of Disco Elysium" for the next year.
uh-huh. Yeah. You're right. You would just it's like when the pandemic happened and people were saying oh, I was a middle manager at Applebee's or whatever, and so they just put that on a resume because no one could call Applebee's and be like, hey, did this guy work there?
Oh,
Because
I
no
didn't
one was
know
working it.
that.
That was, yeah, a huge thing. All right, Xbox branded handheld planned for later this year, according to a report. This also comes from Eddie McCoo, who got some help from Evan Campbell over at GameSpot. There could be an official Xbox branded handheld out by the end of this year. A new report states that Microsoft is partnering with a PC gaming company like Asus or Lenovo, although the exact name of the company they're partnering with seems to still be a mystery. And they're
Mm,
partnering with this on the device, which is targeted to launch this year in 2025. According to Windows Central, the handheld is codenamed Keenan and will be similar in nature to the upcoming Lenovo Legion Go S, which will be the first device outside of the Steam Deck family to run on Valve's Steam OS. Now, are you thinking there's already a bunch of these things that run Windows? How is this any different? The way that this seems to be different, Lucy James, is that
yeah.
Microsoft is specifically making an Xbox sort of environment for this
Yeah.
handheld. They are
So
handling the software.
so that to me says that is the user experience. That is the overlay. You are not
Yes.
booting up into Windows 11, which
Or if it's
is
it's a heavily
my
shelled version of Windows 11 at the very
yeah.
least. Yeah.
Which honestly, great. I have a ROG Ally, and the fact that I have to go through Windows 11 is the worst bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, just managing updates, right? Where they're like, okay, you gotta update
Yeah.
Windows, then you have to update the Asus, like My
Oh, the
Experience thing,
Armory crate.
and then Armory create a separate thing from
Yeah.
Asus's, like, hey, we have a Asus motherboard in here, so we're gonna handle all the updates through there. Yes, a separate thing for just the gaming stuff. So there's three sort of paths you need to walk down,
Mm,
wholly separate from one another every time you need to update. That's frustrating, and then that gets
mm,
into my issues with like just trying to navigate Windows on a touch screen without a keyboard, a physical keyboard, and a mouse. It can
mm.
be frustrating sometimes when you're just trying to get into a password field and it doesn't work. But
Yeah.
hey, Microsoft has known about these issues for a long time. I
Mm,
remember like complaining about it like my first week using the Asus Roger, and like a month later, Phil Spencer was doing a bunch of interviews where he's like, "We get it, we get it, we get it."
yeah.
And so I think immediately they decided this is what we need to do. We need to fix this and make a version of Windows and or Xbox that can work on one of these handheld devices. And I think a lot of us assumed, and based on the rumors, that that would turn into an entirely Microsoft created and wholly integrated, like vertically integrated um, piece of hardware and software that was Xbox through and through. Now
Mm,
that clearly, was something that could still happen. It feels like this is the faster path toward. Well, yeah, sure, we might still do that, but what really needs to happen here is Windows and Xbox need to make sense on a handheld computer, and we can do that with a partner company who can actually make the hardware. And then at a certain point, we want them just to take our software and use that, similar to what's happened with SteamOS. And SteamOS has really gained momentum. It is the thing where, for a long time, we were like, "Hey, can Linux as a gaming platform really work?" These Steam machines, is this? And these were
mm,
PCs that Valve worked with third-party companies to put SteamOS, an early version of SteamOS, which is a version of Linux, running on those, and that didn't take off. Well, now thanks to Steam Deck. And because SteamOS is going to be installable on any device here pretty soon, with the full features, that is gaining some momentum. I think Windows is like Microsoft is recognizing that for Windows, they need to come in here and sort of answer a lot of the questions that people are asking because SteamOS is so handy on these kinds of devices.
Hmm.
I'm excited about this because this is the way I prefer to play games right now and really throughout my entire life. I prefer handhelds, and my handheld gaming PCs continue to be the primary way I play games. So if we can get a lot of competition in this space to make it as good as it possibly can be, I'm thrilled, and I plan to pick up this device as long as it just meets some basic requirements of handling games in a smart and clever way.
Yeah, I agree. As someone who recently kind of moved to the PC ecosystem in the last couple of years, I definitely have noticed that my console time is severely lacking. But I still want to be able to, you know, have those. I mean, like I haven't got a PS Portal just yet, but you know, as like I would love to be able to kind of marry the two. And my big problems with the Roger Ally right now are the bloody it's the user experience. I
Yeah,
don't enjoy using Windows 11. I don't even enjoy using Windows 11 on my desktop PC.
sure.
Um, it was pre-installed. I like Bluetooth doesn't work. I don't know how to like my PC doesn't have an option to go to sleep anymore.
Yeah, I've had that issue before as well. Have you just tried
Yeah.
hitting like Windows X and then U and S? It brings up like a background menu. Just hit Windows X
Well,
and go through
I'll
those
message.
options.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
message you after. But
Yeah.
like, it's no. But I love a Steam Deck, but for me it is kind of too big to travel with comfortably. Like if I'm just taking carry on, it kind of takes up a lot of the space. But if my ROG Ally, it has a nicer form factor. It's better for me ergonomically. It just fits in my bag. And yeah, and if we just had like if we just fixed those little bits, it would be like the perfect device for me. And so I'm excited about it. I'm also just there is all this talk right now about how much money Xbox is losing. It's losing the console race. I don't want to ever see Xbox go away. And if they are, experimenting with different avenues to get games in the hands of people, then I think that is great. And obviously, people play handhelds. People love a handheld. So
I mean, and this,
I hope
this
it's
does set
good.
them up for potential futures.
Yeah.
We continue to hear regulators around the world talk about opening up walled gardens, and for all of that being focused on iOS and Android for quite some time now, it does seem like that Eye of Sauron is kind of glancing over at PlayStation. I
Mm.
can't remember which region in Europe it was. I think it might be the UK. Was like saying, "Hey, PlayStation, your digital store pricing is kind of it's brushing up against the idea of a monopoly. No one else can set prices in your store, or you control the store. Everyone has to go through you, and so." We're looking at maybe not busting you up, but coming in there and really seeing what we can do to open this up a little bit. And that path has continuously led to we are going to let more people put like stores on iOS and on Android, so they could
Mm.
just sell apps to you directly. Microsoft, I think, has foreseen this. I think Microsoft, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I don't have firsthand knowledge, but my hunch here is that Microsoft is lobbying for that sort of thing across all of these devices. They were definitely like helping Epic out in their fight against iOS and Android for this, because
Mm.
Microsoft wants to one day have its store ready to go as an option on PlayStation and doing all the work. I know that's continues to sound crazy. I know it does, but I think that's what Microsoft wants. I'm not saying it'll happen. I think that's what Microsoft wants, so long term and 10, 15 years down the road, which Microsoft, that's the timeline they're working on, definitely thinks that maybe is possible. But, if they do this work now to make sure that their UX is good in a variety of different environments, it can help them. So like maybe one day they could put a store on any device, including a PlayStation. Maybe that gets them into a situation where it's like suddenly your PlayStation really is an Xbox, and they would like that quite a lot.
Yep. At the end of the day, line must go up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to this next one here.
Speaking of.
Yep. This is, oh boy, someone in the department's like, we got to figure out some way to tell people the line might go up one day. New Copilot for gaming aims to save you time, help you get good. That is the headline from Jeff Rubenstein at Xbox Wire, which is the official news PR blog blaster thing for Xbox.
Mm-mm.
Here's how they describe this incredible thing. This morning on the official Xbox podcast, the Xbox corporate vice president of gaming AI, a real job, Fatima Kardar, joined vice president of next generation, Jason Ronald, to reveal exciting
Vice
AI.
President of Next Generation
Yes,
is making this shit up.
It's a hell of a title for just like, I'm going to make the next Xbox. Jason Ronald to reveal exciting AI-powered updates that are coming directly to Xbox players to help you save time. Find AI-powered updates that are coming directly to Xbox players to help, to help you save time, find new games you're likely to love, and even help you ease you back into a game you may have stepped away from. On this podcast, Kardar introduced Copilot for Gaming, which Xbox insiders can get an early preview of on mobile soon. This AI-driven sidekick is designed to be your personalized gaming companion, helping you get to your favorite games faster, coaching you to improve your skills, and connecting you to better with your friends and communities. Copilot for Gaming will be there when you need it, but out of your way when you don't. Okay. I think what they're, my first sort of reaction here, Lucy, is that remember those built-in like videos to help you with completing games that like in the PlayStation 5 UI when that thing launched?
So that's the thing. So it's like it's not just Xbox doing this. Razer have one. Nvidia has one. This is the new. Hey guys, we got to figure out a way to make AI work for us. Like this is and like everyone is doing it at the same time. Copilot, admittedly, good name for it.
Yeah,
let's give him something. Let's give him something. Good name for it.
You know what I think about that is like I was playing Forza Horizon 5 the other day, and it has that feature where it's like, hey, you hit this down button on the D-pad, and you tell that game's version of AI, which is just the programmed AI by the game developers, to say, hey, find me a race. Just find me a race. I want a race. I'm driving around like an idiot right now, and I've been having fun doing that, but I'm done with that. I would like to just be in a race. And then the thing, I was like, okay. And it charts you a path to the race. If we're talking about that sort of thing of, okay, I'm in a game, I'm in an online multiplayer game, and my friend is on the other side of the map. I'm like, hey, can you just teleport me to the other side of the map? Like, I can figure that stuff out. I do it all the time. Sure, no problem. I do have kids that ask me to do that all the time, and I could see that that's like the skill, like they're not used to the way these kinds of games work, and there are people that aren't used to that. I could see these things being helpful in that sort of circumstance. I am just skeptical that it really does stop there, or that it is going to be that helpful in a generic way where this thing could just live on the Xbox and then be applied to every game. My assumption would be it's going to be like, well, okay, we don't really know how to help you with the question you're asking the majority of the time. So in theory, I could see some of this being helpful, but I also I don't need them to be like, here's how you get good. I actually don't think that that's going to be very helpful. And then is it just gonna play for me? I don't know. This seems pretty silly overall.
I mean, this thing. So looking at the description that they've put in the Xbox Wire post, it's less time on tasks like searching, downloading, updating. All of it is with one goal: to help you get to play first, connecting players with games they're likely to enjoy, so recommendation algorithm, reminding you where you left off on an old favorite. What does that mean? Like giving you a summary of the story? Copilot for Gaming set to make gaming with Xbox more seamless and personalized. One particularly exciting area, which Kardar demonstrated on the podcast, is a future feature of Copilot for Gaming in-game assistance. So players were presented using natural language, where Copilot was able to provide situational-specific advice to assist players in overcoming challenges. What does that mean? Does that mean like they said, "Hey, how do I beat this level?" and it gave you
it's like, hey,
game facts?
I think what it's saying is that with this Copilot for Gaming, the in-game assistance, you could say, hey, I'm struggling here. Copilot, I'm struggling with this. What should I be doing? And then in natural language, it's like, okay, I can see you're struggling. You like everyone knows how AI phrases their things. Oh, I can see you're struggling. Let me help you with that.
Hey, Jeff, you dumb piece of shit.
Exactly. And then it says, okay, have you tried?
Let me do my Siri voice. Hey, Jeff, have you tried not being a dumb piece of shit?
Yeah, because it's going to take the content from online where all the message boards say exactly that. Yeah, okay. That is what some people want. That is what some people want. They just want the answer, which is why
I saw it. The thing I saw at CES was Razer. Was it the Razer one? And I think it's called Ava. But they had a thing where it was we were watching this guy play League. RIP to that man. And then they had this AI, like, just assess his performance and then coach him via AI.
Right. And I think that like people
And I
just
was like,
want the thing. They just want like
yeah.
that's why like when people there's a lot of people who are very good at writing gaming guides and game facts. Dr. Game
Mm,
Facts is one of them on the internet, and the people that are the best at it are
oh.
like, don't waste people's time ever.
Yeah, just
They
get
just
straight in.
they just want to play their game. They spent 60 now $70 to play their game, and then they're
Maybe
coming to
80,
you
maybe
not
100.
yeah, maybe 100. They're coming to you not because they enjoy your witty, writing or anything like that. They just want the answer that's going to help them get back in their game and keep playing. And so if this is that, sure. But there is, of course, a cost to this, and that is that a lot of this stuff existed, like the content that this stuff comes from exists because people came together on the internet because they want to help each other and they want to build a community. And this is here to mine that content, and then at the same time could be taking away from the reason to want to build these communities in the first place. So it's maybe a self-fulfilling prophecy here of destroying the very content it needs to justify its existence in the first place, or to be able to like run itself in the first place. I
Yeah.
We'll see. I always, I mean, I'm skeptical of AI as much as anyone else, but it's always like, hey, we could say, hey, look at this thing, how bad it is at this one thing, and then a week later it gets pretty good at that thing. It's always the worst it's going to be today, and it's going to be better at this stuff tomorrow. And so it's like trying to like criticize AI by saying it's not going to be the answer, or it's not going to be able to do like one specific thing, only lasts until it can do that thing. I think we need to be looking at like the fundamental reasons and like what this is actually replacing and the value we got out of those things more than the problems with AI. Because yeah, those are obvious until they go away because it does keep improving. It is very early days.
I'm not gonna lie, it's very interesting watching the AI space right now. Do you see Apple like pulled back on the LLM?
Yeah, I mean,
For Siri, like, and Microsoft aren't investing in those data centers anymore. It is incredibly interesting to
well,
see.
I mean, because that that's the other side of it. They've
Yeah,
made some big promises, and
yeah.
the
Gotta
cost to accomplish
find.
that, yep, it's going to
Yeah,
be
yep.
way more than they were expecting. And then meanwhile, like DeepSeek comes out and really makes them look embarrassing again. A lot of embarrassment to go around today. All right, up next, we got some updates on some new games that are selling very well. Let's start here with Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which has sold 500,000 copies in a month. Very good for that. And that's after being out on Apple Arcade Plus for a very long time,
Couple
like
years, yeah.
yeah, for a while. It's now on like Steam and Switch and everything, and it has found a big audience. People are scooping this game up and playing it, and 500,000 in a month is pretty good for that game, I think, especially when it's like you could be an also ran Animal Crossing.
Mm.
I think people are finding nope, it's fully featured and a well fleshed out game. The same time, Split Fiction, the follow up to It Takes Two, from Joseph Ferris and his teams over there at Hazelight. It's Hazelight, right?
Hazelight,
Uh,
yep.
2 million copies in 1 week.
Oh,
Like
they've
this,
updated it already? Damn.
yeah, this game had an obscene. Yeah, they just updated right before we went live. Like an obscene number of people playing concurrently on Steam. Right? It was like something like
It's
400,
great. It's
400,000. Yeah,
great.
you're playing it like
Played
you
it
played it
today.
last week, and you're playing
Yep.
more today. Okay, yeah. Um, boy, they've found something that the market really wants. People want these kinds of games, and they're the only ones providing it. And
Yeah, no, I'm amazed that even after, like, I mean, A Way Out, in my mind, did not hit as strong as It Takes Two. Like, It Takes Two was a
no,
phenomenon. And I guess they obviously benefited from the fact that it was COVID. A lot of people were inside. Even, obviously, you could play it online, but, like, as a in-room couch co-op experience, it was incredible. And then, yeah, I had no doubt that Split Fiction would do the same, but I'm amazed that no one else is really doing it. The only one I can really think of is, and unfortunately, they were in the same Game Awards presentation, was the one that Hello Games is publishing, by the creators of Overcooked, which name escapes me, and I feel really terrible. But it's like,
yeah, I can't
in
think of it
terms
either.
of split screen co-op, I'm amazed there haven't been so many more people doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I assumed It Takes Two was an anomaly. Where okay, yeah, that one sold 20 million copies, but part of the story there, according to Joseph Ferris himself, and a lot of the reporting is it caught on in China. It was like very popular in
Yeah.
that country specifically. It did very well across the globe. It won Game of the Year, and that helped it like find a new audience. But 20 million copies is crazy. Like most
Yeah.
first party PlayStation and Xbox games do not sell that much. That's in the range of like what Super Mario Brothers Wonder has done, for example. So that's nuts. And I'm like, okay, so that one just broke through. And the next one's probably going to be a disappointment. EA's going to be like, man, what were we thinking? Going back to that well with this same studio, kind of doing the same idea again. And I couldn't have been more wrong. This game is seems like it's on the path to do even better than It Takes Two, and probably is going to be a situation where it's like, no, this actually leads to more sales for It Takes Two as these games like build this audience that exists for this exact type of game. And again, no one else is really making it, not like this, at least.
Yeah. No, not to this standard at all. Yeah, it is a great game. I had a lovely time.
Let me
Having a lovely time playing it.
let me ask you. Do you think like other like Microsoft, all the publishers it has, Activision, things like that, Ubisoft, God knows what they're thinking, but like other publishers got to be looking at this and be like, man, maybe we should get on this action. Do you think they could?
In terms of creating their own new one?
Do you think that they could make a game in the style of a Haze-like game, a narrative, backed platforming two-player cooperative game that you play side by side? Do you think that they could make one that like really could compete with what Hazelight is doing in a way that way that's like cost efficient for them without like getting out like crazy and things like that?
Yeah, Team Asobi.
Okay, Team of
I
Sophie
think
could probably do it.
I think the next Astrobot should be co-op, or at least have co-op.
If they had a
Because I
co-op
think
mode in there, yeah.
in terms of a studio that is exceptional at capturing the magic of like distilling the pure joy of gaming in a way that I think Hazelight does in a very similar way. Like my only immediately I go to Team Asobi.
Yep. Scrub and Grub in chat says, bring back Army of Two, EA. There we go. That's what we need. It's Army of Two time once again. All right. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to take a quick break. We're just going to come down for the live viewers. We'll be right back after this, and we'll be right back after these messages if you're listening later. All right. I don't know if we're going to fade down for the live audience, so I'll just get right back into it. PlayStation Portal reportedly adds PlayStation Classics for cloud streaming beta. This is from Evan Campbell at GameSpot. There are apparently over 30 new games available to stream via the cloud on PlayStation Portal without using a PS5, and they're all part of the Classics catalog, A new report states that almost every original PlayStation and PSP title that's included with the PlayStation Plus premium membership now. According to True Trophies, Sony has silently added to the PlayStation Classics for the PlayStation Portal cloud streaming beta. The highly requested feature, which removes the requirement of utilizing a PS5, arrived in November and remains in beta. The PlayStation Portal owners must opt in, and originally only PS5 games part of the PS Plus catalog could be played. Now the library reportedly includes titles like Siphon Filter, and so I think we went down there for a second.
We like dipped to black.
Yeah, I love it. That's hey, we told you all we're figuring this out.
Yeah,
still.
we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Jan, you're doing great.
No,
everyone, give some love to Jan because
then there's different like delays for like different things on the show. It's all crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, PlayStation Portal is the device that's done way better than I think even Sony was expecting. They've said that themselves. So I think they're finding other ways to support that thing to make it feel even more valuable. But I think a lot of people are happy with, no, I have my PS5. I'm streaming games to this thing over my network or maybe occasionally outside my house. It works fine enough in some circumstances for some games. And I think Sony adding this stuff. Sure, that's a nice. It's icing on top, I suppose. But I still don't think people are going to be like begging for that. People are happy with the way that device works as is, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone I know who has a PlayStation Portal really loves it.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for being a hater, at least at the beginning, but also because I can't play with a DualSense for any long period of time, and I had kind of bad internet in my last place,
right?
And now I got good internet. So maybe I can live that dream where I'm gaming in different rooms of my house.
Yeah, give it another shot. I continue to use Chiaki for Deck, which is like an open source version of the PlayStation streaming protocol, and that's been fantastic. It supports
Mm,
HDR, which is like a feature I think even the Portal doesn't have. So that's nice, and that's working for me. So I'm like, I don't feel a need to get this thing, especially because it doesn't do much else beyond streaming your games.
yeah.
But you add this, I think what this really signals to me, though, Lucy, is that Sony sees an opportunity to continue down the pathway of making more devices like this. And as we talked about with Xbox making its handheld earlier, I think, the next PlayStation handheld device is probably a significantly more capable Portal, right?
Mm, yeah, I would see that. I mean, like you said, it's taken off in a way that probably PlayStation didn't even expect. They kind of hoped for. And yeah, I mean, handhelds, man. While you weren't looking, handhelds made a return.
Yep.
I kind of love that. I mean, also because I'm in a stage right now where I now live right next to two of my best friends, and that's amazing because I can just go and hang out all the time, and they can come hang out. But I also feel that like my gaming is kind of suffering, and so
Sure.
even though we're just watching absolute trash on TV, I was like, I could be gaming at the same time, hanging out, and I
Yep.
have to have 5 drinks on my desk and at least 3 forms of entertainment going at all times because God forbid I'm alone with my own thoughts.
Oh
But you know what I
no.
mean? Like yeah, maybe that is the move, and maybe more people are feeling that. Like we got so cooped up and we were so isolated during COVID, and now like people are rediscovering the fact that it is just nice being around other people, being out and about. And so hey, if you want to take gaming with you, I kind of love that more handhelds are on the market to be able to do that.
Yeah, it feels like maybe somehow when Nintendo combined its handheld and its home console into one thing,
Mm,
that it like, even though that like really does dominate handheld gaming
mm,
mostly, it also weirdly created a space for more experimentation. Like no one was like, okay, we're not going to make our own PSP, we're not going to make our own Atari Lynx or Game Gear. The days of making those kinds of devices probably are mostly over. But can we take what's happening in PC with laptops getting very efficient? Well, yeah, that worked with the Steam Deck, and streaming's getting pretty good. Can we make that make sense? Yeah, that's working as well. And it's like, oh wait, there still are a ton of people that want these kinds of games that only we make or only we provide, and they want it on a device where they can, like you said, maybe just hang out in the family room while someone else is watching a TV show, or like I do. I like, I'll sit in the
yeah.
family room with the kids playing something on the TV, or they're watching Gabby's Dollhouse, and I'll just want to be around them. And
Yeah.
so I
Oh, I
don't want to
mean,
go. I don't want to go in
when
the
I lived
basement by myself and play a
no.
game. I feel bad.
Well, the thing, like when I lived with the Millers, we would be watching stuff on the big TV in order for Greg to be able to play um anything on PlayStation. Because if Jen and I were watching our murder documentaries or whatever it was we would be
Yeah,
watching,
you're white
Greg
ladies.
would
That makes
have
sense.
yeah, yeah. Greg would have to set up a small screen. He had like a
Yeah.
travel screen that he had that worked for the PlayStation 5, worked for the Xbox, and he would just set it up on the floor and have to sit there. And looking back, it was kind of ridiculous. Like that was the solution that we had to do because we obviously didn't have. Oh man, when I lived with my ex, we had 2 TVs in the living room.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. I was gonna ask, how do you feel about that? Because I definitely have broached the subject with my wife before,
Yeah.
where I was like, "Hey, what if instead of this one big TV in the middle,
What if
two
we
slightly
had?
smaller TVs side by side,
Oh no,
and that
we
way,
had two big boys.
I mean, yeah,
It
it was still like
was.
the one we have up there's like a 75-inch, I'm like two 65-inch TVs side by side, ready to go." I'm
uh,
like,
I mean, what you
it didn't
what
go
you
over great.
could do is you could have like one big TV, and then you could have one kind of smaller TV above it on
Yeah,
a thing. So I don't know, man. We were both gamers, okay? Like, you know, so it made sense at the time.
it does.
Aesthetically,
Yeah, it's a lot.
yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna have two
200
TVs, you might
inches
as well
says
have
Dan.
9 and just be
Yeah.
like a weird scene from like a 90s hacking movie or something like that.
Or like when you go into a one of the sports bars in Vegas and they just
Yes.
have the whole wall of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when picture in picture used to be a thing, I'm so mad. So my TV has picture in picture, right? And I was like, dude, Xbox Snap is back. I can have stuff in the corner while I'm playing games. But
Lucy,
there's a
careful. You just activated so many connects by saying that.
but no, it doesn't work. Like there is some HDMI thing it just does not acknowledge the fact that my PlayStation on my Xbox and my PC is and it refuses to play. It refuses to play my Netflix app or my YouTube app. How else am I going to watch my Elden Ring speedruns?
I don't know. There's no other way to do that. It's unfortunately that's the only way.
I
That's a
mean, I
bummer.
could get a laptop and just put it
Yep.
next
Yeah.
to it.
I mean, that
guess.
is what I do a lot of times.
Firefox has added a pip mode to its web browser. I'm
Ooh.
in. All right.
Yeah.
I'm back to Firefox.
The picture-in-picture thing just activates for me automatically in some of my browsers. The Opera GX, the gamer browser, does that for me. Sometimes
I mean,
does that for me. It like does that against my will, and I'm always like, go back to the tab. I hate you, please.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Let's continue on with where were we at? Yes, Defiance, the video game that tied into a TV show, is coming back to life. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. Yes, the MMO Defiance, which was shut down in 2021, is coming back to life for anyone unaware. Defiance was a third-person shooter MMO from Tryon Worlds that was developed as a tie-in for the sci-fi show of the same name, with events and storylines running across the game and the TV show. Like, they were supposed to interact with one another.
Yeah.
It launched in
Cool
2013.
idea.
Yes.
Is it the first transmedia property, really?
I mean, the first one that worked in this specific way, definitely, yes. It launched in 2013 as a paid game for PC, PS3, and Xbox. Xbox 360, I should say, before adopting a free-to-play model and continued to receive updates even after the TV show was canceled in 2015. A new version of the game, Defiance 2050, came out in 2018, but both games shut down servers in 2021. Now Defiance is getting something of a comeback. Fox is a gaming company whose mission is to breathe life into old worlds and preserve their legacy, has announced plans to bring Defiance back following a deal with the previous rights owner, Gamigo? That's got to be Gamigo. Even though the TV
Tommy
series
Tallarico's...
Tommy Tallarico's Gamigo. Even though the TV series was discontinued in 2015 and Gamigo eventually closed the game in 2021, the memories of epic arc falls and immersive post-apocalyptic battles live on in your hearts, Fox said.
All right.
Yeah, that's a weird way to put it, because it's like, if you were trying to convince people that you were like into this when you say lives on in our hearts, we're like, it lives on your hearts, and we're gonna get your money for it. Sure, yeah, hey, this is weird, but also I like this idea as like a business model of, let's go take some old games and bring them back and let the 10,000 people that might maybe want to like get in here and like really love this idea come and do that. I mean, I don't know. I think it makes some sense, but I'm personally probably not going to be checking out Defiance. I don't know. How about you, Lucy?
No, I don't think so. It's not for me.
I mean,
I remember like previewing that game and stuff back in the day.
Yep, getting PR emails about it for a couple of years.
A lot of PR emails about it.
Yep. I mean, it was. I think cool I watched
idea.
a couple. I watched a couple episodes of Defiance on the Sci-Fi channel. That's SYFY for people who maybe don't have the Sci-Fi channel.
I hated that rebrand.
Yeah.
Who was in the TV show? Was it a Nathan Fillion joint?
No, it was
someone who was Nathan Fillion adjacent.
It was a diet Nathan Fillion. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it was like a sort of frontier town in space, that sort of idea.
Defiance TV show. Who was it?
Yeah, there were. I feel like there were some actual actors in it.
Grant Bola?
Of course. Oh man, I'm such a Bola head.
Jamie Murray is the only actor who I recognize.
I mean, it was a sci-fi TV show. That's
It usually had 3 seasons.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it did all right. It wasn't a Farscape or whatever for them, but it did all right.
Nothing's gonna touch Farscape.
Nothing's a Farscape. Yeah, you got to have that hints and magic.
Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's all right. And yeah, so this I guess is gonna come back. We'll see. I'll be interested to see if we get more PR emails. Personally, that's where I'm most invested, Lucy.
I'm setting up my filter.
A Star Fox spiritual successor was announced from the original programmer. This is from Matt Leone at Polygon. I gotta say, the most surprising thing to me about this was Matt Leone's still at Polygon? He's been there since the beginning. Shout outs to Matt Leone. Announced Wednesday during the Humble Games showcase, a developer Chuhai Labs, the studio founded by original Star Fox programmer Giles Goddard, is working on a Star Fox spiritual successor called Wild Blue. Shown in a brief teaser trailer and detailed via a press release and a Steam page, the game will be a rail shooter complete with animal pilots, dogfights, boss battles, and blue skies. Soar over oceans, desert ridges, and perilous caves, battling waves of enemies and pushing back the Baron's forces sounds very Star Fox. Lucy, I guess my
Mm.
question to you is, this is not the first one of these Star Fox likes we've seen recently. We've gotten quite a few of these. I think it's very cool to get one from
Mm.
someone who worked on the original that's kind of going for exactly Star Fox. But it makes me begin to feel like, oh, maybe Nintendo's right that just bringing back Star Fox and making another Star Fox is not enough anymore, because it does feel maybe a dime a dozen at this point. Does
Or
that jive with you?
maybe they got wind that Nintendo is making a new Star Fox and they're trying to ride the
Maybe.
train.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible as well.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know if Nintendo is or isn't, but like kind of weird that there's so many of them coming out and being announced.
I think that I would like Star Fox to come back, but I do think it's time it gets like the Breath of the Wild equivalent, where you
Mm.
take the idea and you amp it up. And maybe, not doesn't have to be like open world or something like that, or flying around an open planet. Although I think that idea worked really well in that
Mm.
there was that Ubisoft Toys to Life game where you could build your
Oh, I
spaceship
know
and
exactly what you mean. Can't remember
you
the
could,
name of it.
yeah, and you could actually get an R-wing in there, and R-wing is the ship
Yeah,
from Star
that's
Fox.
cool.
So I think something like that could be very cool, but with that Nintendo salt
Yeah.
on top, that really makes it that extra flavorful.
You know what? Hear me out. Hear me out. Here we go.
Please.
What about reimagining Star Fox for the TikTok generation?
Boy, that's got to work, right? That's just has to work. That's the brilliant.
Yeah.
That's just the
Yeah.
Lucy James brilliance we bring you on the
Yeah.
show for. Starlink was the name of that game, Marino. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. All right, sticking with Nintendo, Nintendo's San Francisco store will open in May with exclusive products only available in this location. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC, but really, the
I'm
story's
about to
headline.
become so popular.
Yeah, hey, Lucy, what are you doing May 15th? I just need you to pick up something for me. It's gonna
Dude,
have items exclusive to this store.
Oh, Jordan Midler. Hey,
Yeah.
big man. Hey, big man. Where are you staying in Tokyo?
Uh-huh.
Which Pokemon store are you next to? And then he was like, "Can you get me these things?" And I tried to get every gift that I
Sicko.
tried to get from the Pokemon store, from the Nintendo store. I even tried to get the pop-up Majima. All sold out. All sold out.
Yep.
I went to the Pokemon Center over in Shibuya, like 20 minutes after it opened. That little Pikachu shit had already sold out.
Oh yeah, and I
So
think
God
that
forbid what this is going to be like.
right, this is going to be a nightmare as well. It's
Yeah.
going to, I mean, especially when you say items exclusive to this store. Line out the door first thing every morning when those things drop. That's just what it's going to be
Where
like.
is it? In Union Square?
Is that what it says?
Yeah, but like which store? Nintendo store, Union Square.
Yeah, maybe it's replacing.
Oh, here we go.
the-
Nintendo put out a release. 331 Powell. Okay.
All right, we're gonna dox the store, everybody. That's what we do on
Oh,
the show.
this is on the Nintendo.com. Okay, they
Joking.
they put that on there. What did it used to be?
I think
what's
the store
it
wants to be
near?
doxed.
Oh, it's right next to Victoria's Secret. Okay,
Oh, well,
it's got a good
cool.
spot.
Knock out
It's
all
like,
my shopping in one go.
No, so there's the Macy's, with the famed Cheesecake Factory on the top. There's an Apple store. There's Victoria's Secret, and now Nintendo store. I mean, honestly, cool. I'm
Yep.
super excited. Pardon? What'd you say?
The Macy's.
The Macy's.
Thank you, Pop and Jan. All right, let's wrap up this show. Just a couple more stories here. Sony banned Jonah Hill from using a PlayStation in in Superbad. Lucy, someone asked Seth Rogen, "Hey, what's the weirdest note you ever got on a movie?" And he said that the executives at Sony hated Jonah Hill's character so much in Superbad, they found him so vile that the note that they got was he is not allowed to play the PlayStation in that scene where what's his name, Michael Cera was playing like Call of Duty or whatever. They're like, Jonah Hill has to just be walking around. He don't even look at the PlayStation. Don't even acknowledge it. Yes.
Yeah, and yet Kevin Spacey's character in House of Cards, big PS Vita fan.
Just #1 Vita ambassador. Yeah, and there's nothing
You
wrong
should
with
get
that.
one for the car.
Yeah, Sony loves Kevin Spacey. It's crazy. All right. Assassin's Creed Shadows will support Steam Deck at release. Is more of a PSA. I'm at a point now, 3 years on from the Steam Deck, where I assume new games won't work. And especially when I get like review games and things like that, I'm never like, oh, I should just play that on a Steam Deck first. Usually they say don't do that. So it's like this game, I'm like looking forward to it. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I'll just stream that to my Steam Deck from the PC. But no, they're saying it should work, although they are still awaiting the classification, the specific
Mhm.
classification from Valve, where it's like, is it the green check mark, which just says it works
Or
with
is
a
it the
caveat?
orange?
Is it the yellow, where
Yeah.
it's like, it could be something as simple as the text is a little small, or you have to really finagle the settings to get this thing to run in a way that is acceptable. All of that is encompassed in that middle setting. And then let's see, PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium are getting one of 2024's best platformers next week. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Sony has announced PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium games for March. The games, which include releases on PS5, PS4, PSVR 2, and the Classics catalog, will be available from next week. Headlining the list for PlayStation Extra and Premium members is Ubisoft's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, as well as EA's UFC 5. Both games, along with the rest of the list, will be available on March 18th. They'll be joined by Captain Tsubasa: Rise of the New Champions. That's a good
Ooh.
game. Mobile Suit Gundam, Battle Operation Code Fairy, Arcade Paradise, Bang on Balls Chronicles. All right.
I'm
You
saying
suck.
nothing.
Yep. You suck at parking, and Siberia: The World Before. So yeah, pretty good list of games there. Definitely check out
Huh.
Prince of Persia if you've not, everybody.
Oh, please
Notable.
check out Prince of Persia. Oh my god,
Yeah.
what a game.
Yep. Notable that that took like a year to come to PlayStation Plus, and
Yeah.
Dragon Age got there in 4 months. That's
Yeah.
hell of a thing.
Also, Giant Bomb's game with you.
Yep. Oh yeah, Prince of Persia, and yeah, that I think
And
it
we
was
were right.
I think when we were talking about, yeah, we were right about that.
We
When
were
we were
right.
talking about it, and it was like, wait, I think this is the one everyone just every time it comes up, everyone was like, yeah, that game rules. There was
Yeah.
like no one being like, well,
Our
that's not
top
on my
10 was
top
so
10.
good because
Yeah.
every person had like their game,
Yep.
and then we all just agreed on Prince of Persia.
Yeah, that was
That was
yeah.
a
I
nice moment.
love that game. All right, that does it for the headlines. Let's get over to the poll question. Let's see here. I have it right over here in my gamer browser, ready to go. Have you ever played Katamari Damacy? This game came out a long time ago, and I gotta say, I think this is maybe the most telling poll we've ever had, Lucy, for this audience. 65% of respondents of the nearly 3,000 people that filled out this poll have played
Yeah.
Katamari. Only 35% have not. I mean, I know it is a popular franchise among gamers, but it's not one that's like that really I think is a household name. So I think our audience, 100% true hardcore gamers, Lucy, as I've always
True
said.
gamers.
Yeah,
True gamers.
the truest gamers, a very engaged audience
Yeah.
is how I would phrase it in a pitch deck to advertisers. Um, uh, that's uh,
Don't.
that's yesterday's poll. We have a new poll coming up here pretty soon. In the meantime, Lucy James, why don't you tell people what you have going on, what you've been working on, where people could find you on the internet, all that good stuff.
So, we recorded Berserk. That is going up tomorrow, I believe. So, we're only a couple episodes into our Berserk Gaiden on Jeff's Bizarre Adventure. If you want to come and experience it, Jeff has no idea. Backlaw has no idea where Berserk goes,
That's incredible.
and it's taking all of my energy not to be like pulling faces and whatever whenever he's
Is he
talking
going to be
about things.
okay?
I don't think so. I think I kind of feel bad, but it's one of the greatest stories ever told, so whatever. We also, Tam and I are going to be playing more of Split Fiction after we've got the GameSpot show up next, and then we'll be playing more Split Fiction, and then after that we got Voicemail Dump Truck.
Voicemail dump truck. Yeah, I should be back for
tomorrow
that. So yeah.
Yeah, and tomorrow we're playing Repo, right?
Yep, yeah, repo on
Yeah.
Unprofessional Fridays, everybody. We were going to do that on Grubb's Gimmicks, but we saved that for UPF so we
Yeah.
can get more people involved. Looking forward to that. We should have a
Yeah.
whole 6-person crew ready to go and play that. Looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I'm doing, so you're going to see a new setup for me because I'm in the middle of painting my office, so I'm actually going to set it up. I'm going to set up like a random camera just in my living room.
Randy Cam, all right, let's
Randy
go.
Cam.
Fantastic.
Randy Pitchford Cam in my living room.
You don't want that. You really don't want
No.
that. All right. New poll question. Have you ever played The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion? Yes or no? I expect most people probably have, but looking
I
forward to this.
assume
I'll be
so.
surprised
Wait,
if more
have you
people
ever
had
seen
played
that?
Katamari.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that machinima with the Tiny Tim song in Oblivion?
I don't know if I have.
The Tiptoe Through the Tulips one?
I
Because
don't-
that is...
Okay. Have you ever seen that as well? Put that in the comments and let us know. We'll get to that poll question on tomorrow's show of game-breaking news. I'm going to remember to say that every time. I will never say the old name again.
I said Game Mess Mornings like 3 times.
Oh, it'll
already,
happen.
So
Yeah, on game breaking news tomorrow here on the Power Block, which, once again, is a collaboration between GameSpot and Giant Bomb, and we're going to just keep doing it, everybody. On that episode, we will have, I think, Tomorrow Hussein should be back, I believe. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, Lucy James, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's always a
Uh,
nice little highlight of the week.
Thank you, everyone in the background that's made this happen. Thank you, Jan and Jean-Luc, for helping figure this out. We're going to get all this stuff stitched together even better than today going forward, everybody. But thank you for watching and listening at home. We are going to just keep making this stuff for you. We really do like doing it. That's why we put so much work into it. So the fact that you all keep showing up to watch and listen means the world. So tune in for the Power Block every day and then just keep it on. Watch. There's going to be something fun happening on your screen and cool people doing it. So we really appreciate everyone coming along on the ride with us. All right. Have a good one. Take care of yourself and goodbye.